There's a common misconception that Hollywood has run out of ideas, evidenced by the studio's ongoing practice of adapting known brands into films. To this, I say nonsense. They haven't run out of ideas at all. On the contrary, they've discovered a goldmine of untapped resources. As long as there are brands, they have an unlimited stock for movies. Are they good movies? Usually not, but they have unaided awareness and nostalgia working for them, and that alone will draw people into theaters. Now, sometimes a movie, even when relying on unaided awareness, can be so obviously bad that it must employ a tactic that, apparently, makes it exempt from criticism, labeling it a kid's film. This action is supposed to pardon a flick's subpar aspects, and, sadly, many people not only accept the idea, but propagate it. So many times have variations of, "it's for kids, so adults shouldn't judge it," been expressed, and it sends a worrying message that children don't deserve quality. Films intended for young audiences can be great, and grouping those proven titles with annoying ones is insulting. Should Food Fight receive the same level of accolades as The Secret of Nim, since both are children's movies? According to the so-called critical immunity, yes. With this mindset, Baby Geniuses and Alvin and the Chipmunks are the same quality as Pixar's Up and The Lion King. This low expectation allows Hollywood to justify their continued production of these cinematic flops, and as long as people give them money, it's an inferred approval. And that brings me to the subject of this pre-review, Dreamworks, The Boss Baby. Based on the 2010 picture book by Marla Frazee, the short story tells about the demands of raising a newborn baby. It utilizes the metaphor that he is the boss of the house, showing him in suit-like footed pajamas and a necktie. The story is not meant to be taken literally. At only 36 sentences long, the book didn't seem a candidate for a 90-minute film, but Hollywood proved that wrong. On June 12, 2014, Dreamworks Animation announced the big screen adaptation would release on March 18, 2016. But on December 11, 2014, they revealed Kung Fu Panda 3 would get the date instead, leaving The Boss Baby's release tentative. Come January 22, 2015, the date was moved to January 13, 2017, but in September 2015, it was pushed out farther to March 10, 2017. In June 2016, the finalized date was announced for March 31, 2017. Gee, I hope all those delays don't indicate something bad. The story outlines how a new baby upsets the balance of the previously peaceful Templeton household, as observed by 7-year-old Tim Templeton. That doesn't sound too bad, and many kids could relate to it if they have younger siblings. But could that really fill 90 minutes? Oh, don't worry, it gets better. This will focus on, quote, a fast-talking, briefcase-carrying baby and his 7-year-old brother, who is jealous of him. When Tim embarks on a mission to win back the sole affection of his parents, he stumbles upon a secret plot by the CEO of Puppy Co. that threatens to destroy the balance of love in the world, and this brash baby executive masquerading as his new brother is at the center of it all. Now they must come together as true brothers to stop the dastardly scheme, save their parents, restore order to the world, and prove that love is indeed an infinite force. Unquote. What did I just read? Seriously, was that idea made with Mad Libs? I know adaptation expansions tend to deviate from their source material, but this is so amazingly preposterous. The animation looks bad, and not because it's cartoony. The lighting is flat and stark on the characters, and the lack of proper shadowing leaves the faces without definition. Everyone's skin looks like plastic, and Mr. Templeton's face is distractingly smaller than Tim's. An unsettling feature on all the characters is the abnormally large pupils. I guess the filmmakers thought it makes everyone appear innocent, but it just looks like they got their eyes dilated, and it comes off as unnerving. Let's examine the titular character. The summary of the brash baby executive masquerading as Tim's brother threw me off, since it sounded like he was in fact a grown man. A familiar trope we've seen in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Baby Buggy Bunny, and Little Man. Baby Boss, yes, that's what he's called, is in actuality a baby, based on the fact that he has no teeth. Which brings up two questions. How can he eat the sushi he claims to love, and why does he have an adult's voice already? The concept of a baby acting like an adult is nothing new, let alone funny, and is currently seen in Family Guy. Actually, many of the scenes in this movie are reminiscent of ones we've seen with Stewie, such as conducting meetings with guileless peers, making business calls on toy phones, and participating in large-scale battles with other children. Well, Fox is distributing the film, so maybe they had a say in its content. Baby Boss arrives at the Templeton household by way of a cab, and the parents welcome him. This alone is worrying. Aren't the parents a bit concerned that an unaccompanied baby shows up at their door? Why is their first inclination to introduce him to Tim as his new brother, instead of, I don't know, reporting an abandoned baby to the authorities? It works in the book because it's all a metaphor. In this movie, he really is a boss, in a suit, and arrives in a cab. Who is this baby? Where does he come from? Who cares? It's made for kids, so we have to accept it. Ugh. And let's just say the trailer is edited purposely to make it appear as though the baby arrives on his own, but in the film, the parents accompany him in the taxi. The mother clearly didn't birth this 6-month-old looking baby, even if it's an adoption scenario, which takes years to set up and complete. Why was Baby Boss in an adoption center when he's an executive? Wait, is that supposed to be the baby's drawing? Sorry, but babies don't possess that sort of hand-eye coordination until they're 1 year old, and this baby looks about 6 months old, but I think he's supposed to be newborn. But Marplotic, you may be saying, he acts like an adult, so of course he could color already. He shouldn't be coloring during his infant ploy. He runs the risk of alerting the parents to this ability, who would likely notify medical organizations and inform them about their wonder baby. News stations would cover the story, and he'd be in newspapers and websites the world over, which would notify his enemies to his whereabouts, and put an end to his secret mission. The nefarious reason behind Baby Boss's arrival is because Tim's dad works for Puppy Co., and Baby Boss is trying to get to Tim as part of a covert plot. Why the need for the posing as a regular baby ruse? Couldn't he have obtained his intel an easier and faster way? Baby Boss, in reality, works for Baby Corp, an organization of adult-like babies who monitor the world's balance of love from high up in the clouds. When Puppy Co.'s puppies start receiving more love than babies, the tots decide to fight back. In short, it's a hybrid of baby geniuses, cats and dogs, and Care Bears. And they really should have picked a company name that wasn't so identical to Baby Genius's Baby Co. Hold on. Why are they saying kittens only get 4% of the world's love? Do they not know how popular kittens are? This whole chart is useless anyway, because the summary already said Tim and Baby Boss learn love is an infinite force, meaning babies and puppies won't have to fight for love supremacy. There, now you don't have to watch it. You're welcome. One of the numerous subplots has Baby Boss, I hate saying that name, and Tim vying for the parents' affection, and zany antics ensue. Tim repeatedly tries pointing out the baby's adult mannerisms, but due to plot convenience, the mom and dad suffer from one of the worst cases of the parental obliviousness trope in recent years. Tim highlights that Baby Boss wears designer suits, and carries a briefcase. The parents respond with, "He's like a little man," and, "Well, you carried Lam around." The fact that Tim focuses on the implausibility of the suit shows that real-world logic applies in the movie, so the parent should agree with him. The contrast between Tim and the parents' observations is discordant, and only draws more attention to the absurdity of the suit, because it's never answered, and instead diverted by the lamb and little man lines. The baby arrived in a suit, and the briefcase likely carries another suit, leather shoes, wool socks, sock garters, button-up shirt, and silk ties. Why don't they consider it odd that a baby has such an assortment of tailored goods? Why haven't they purchased him any clothes other than the overused joke sailor suit? Their apathy is supposedly explained in a scene showing Baby Boss talking to Baby Corp on the phone, remarking that the parents are delirious from lack of sleep. To this, I say, no. Such a vapid excuse cannot fix that glaring plot hole, especially since it's been proven that real-world logic exists in this movie. These parents aren't oblivious from lack of sleep. They act like their brains have been taken over by aliens. It would have been more believable to show I'm not gonna say his name again. The baby in regular clothes, but then Tim discovers him dressed in the suits during the phone call scene. The notion of the suit in the book is used metaphorically. In a feature-length film, it makes zero sense, and the excuse overlooking it is contrived. Wait a minute. There's a pillow in the crib? Everyone knows it's dangerous to put a pillow in a baby's crib. These are horrible parents. Oh, and to address the Toy Story Easter egg phone in this scene, it's a Fisher-Price chatter telephone, which was around long before Toy Story. Just because it showed up in the movie does not make it a Toy Story exclusive, or even an Easter egg. As with any teeth-clenched teamwork trope movie, the boys initially detest each other. After the baby tells Tim about the Puppy Co. plot, they utter these lines. "If I don't succeed with this mission, I will live here forever with you. Okay, I will help you, but just to get rid of you. Gee, I wonder if they will surprise everyone and become great friends." I don't know why the baby is worried he'll be stuck in the Templeton household if the mission fails. He could just call another taxi. But we all know they'll win, and he'll want to stay in a schmaltzy ending. If ever a movie followed a checklist of cliches, this is it. Quick, what will sell? Babies and puppies? Check. Bodily function jokes? Check. Babies who act like adults? Check. Overused slow motion shots? Check. Quoting other films? Double check. At one point, the baby stops another from eating a cookie by saying, "Put that cookie down. Cookies are for closers." Sure, because kids will understand that Glengarry Glen Ross reference. A parodied quote only works if the original film is widely known. And why is he mentioning closers? He was briefing them on Puppy Co., not making real estate deals. While on that subject, how do the principles of baby hierarchy work in this world? Why does the baby interact with childish, illiterate toddlers when there are baby geniuses at Baby Corp? Why does he act like an adult and love espresso and sushi, yet drink from bottles? Where does he get money? Who are these baby geniuses' parents? Who takes care of them? Who taught them to speak and read? This scene shows Baby Boss getting dressed by a machine, but that might be exclusive for him because he's a Baby Corp executive. Why aren't there adults in this Baby Corp world? Is this a family-friendly Village of the Damned? Is Baby Boss's real name David Zellaby? These observations seem comical at first, but if we read the summary between the lines, the implications are eerie. Puppy Co. oversees puppy activity all over the world, and actually creates them, as revealed in Puppy Co.'s plot to monopolize the world's love supply by introducing the cutest puppy ever. Francis E. Francis is the CEO, and the pups are simply the company goods. This means an adult is in charge of Baby Corp, and is manufacturing babies in his or her factory. Both companies plainly list their goods in their names. Who is the unseen puppet master pulling the strings at Baby Corp? Maybe it's best to view this as a suspense or horror film. The overused Dreamworks face, stilted dialogue, throwaway gags, crass and scattershot humor, and hyperactivity is the equivalent of shaking car keys in the audience's faces. It's as if a bunch of random ideas were thrown into the film, and DreamWorks is hoping a few will work. The trailer, which is supposed to hook the audience, comes across as disconnected events. Baby Boss takes over house, Baby Boss has meetings, Tim tries telling parents about Baby multiple times but fails, Tim goes to Baby Corp. It can't decide if it wants to be about life with a new baby, secretly smart babies, or a top secret mission. Whatever the case, this was clearly made for very young children. Will people want to watch this? Since it's a kids movie and a DreamWorks title, yes, quite a few, but many will think it's a letdown after watching it. This is the popular standard for kids movies, and many are going to excuse its shortcomings. It'll lose momentum at the box office rapidly, and perhaps Beauty and the Beast from weeks before will keep it from reaching the #1 slot. What will critics think about it? They may say the story introduces too many subplots and is a stinky diaper. They'll cringe at the crude humor and clunky script, and even compare it to Baby Geniuses or Family Guy. Others will say how remarkably un-DreamWorks it is. Was it a good idea to make this? No. As proven in the past, baby movies don't perform well at the box office and cater to an extremely limited market. The Baby Geniuses movies are chock full of precocious, brilliant babies who are capable of inventing gadgets and undertaking stealthy missions, but they're considered some of the worst films ever made. Storks barely earns back its budget at the US box office. Even if the plot didn't revolve around babies, this tale is pedestrian. What will be the lasting impression? DreamWorks Animation has made some fantastic movies, but this film feels like a direct-to-video title. The prospect of Tim having to adjust to life with a new baby could have been a touching, funny story, but it was expanded with a tangled plot full of bouncing off the walls hyperactivity and hackneyed humor, all hiding behind the protective mantle of being a film for kids. The Boss Baby won't pull in record numbers, but will quietly go the way of DreamWorks' less popular movies. Forgettable, and unable to stand alongside its more popular brethren of the past. Remember the huge advertising campaign and marketing for the Trolls movie? DreamWorks clearly thought it would rake in record-shattering numbers, but it only made back a bit more of its $125 million at the US box office. The Boss Baby's advertising and marketing isn't anywhere near Trolls' amount, indicating that the company may not be as confident about its success. And how could they be, when it doesn't even feel like a DreamWorks title? Where's the wit and wry humor DreamWorks is famous for? Where are the memorable characters? Having a baby sound and act like a businessman is just a gimmick, which is not a substitute for a well-thought-out character. DreamWorks Animation has been experiencing rough times. Beginning in 2013, ticket sales for their movies dropped, while competitors like Disney, Illumination, and Pixar saw a sharp uptick. DreamWorks suggested their low sales was because older kids no longer watched their animated movies, so they decided to cater to a younger demographic. Recently, the company was acquired by NBC Universal, and CEO Jeffrey Katzenberg and co-presidents Muriel Soria left. If DreamWorks wishes to regain their affluence that made them a household brand, they have to step up their game. Throwing in the towel and simplifying their movies, when they were once known as the leaders of witty animated flicks, is a path to doom. DreamWorks Animation was first known for telling poignant stories, and later, brazen ones. If the underwhelming approach to titles continues, they might eventually be demoted to shell company for direct-to-video titles, like Universal Cartoon Studios. DreamWorks' upcoming list of features is The Boss Baby, Captain Underpants, Larrikins, How to Train Your Dragon 3, Madagascar 4, and Puss in Boots 2. Larrikins is the only original IP in that entire lot. But can a Bilby who goes on a musical adventure through Australia become the new Shrek, restore consumer confidence, and revive the company? Hopefully, because the Boss Baby sure won't. Next movie? Oh yes. Someone's got a gripe about it, and that someone is Marplotic.